For viewers who have welcomed Craig Melvin into their homes for years, his calm voice and thoughtful presence have come to symbolize reliability in an ever-shifting world. Yet behind the composed delivery of headlines and the steady gaze into the camera exists a deeply human story shaped by quiet pressures, personal reckonings, and the enduring partnership he shares with his wife, Lindsay Krasarniak, whose own life in broadcasting has given her an intimate understanding of how public visibility can mask private vulnerability. Craig's career, marked by professionalism and grace, unfolded during decades when the news cycle grew faster and heavier, when anchors were expected not only to inform, but to comfort, to project steadiness, even as the stories they reported reflected a world growing more divided, more anxious, and more uncertain, a responsibility that does not dissolve once the studio lights dim. For Craig, the weight of being a trusted voice often followed him home, settling into quiet moments when reflection replaced rehearsal and questions about purpose, longevity, and balance began to surface. Questions that resonate powerfully with those in their early 60s who have spent lifetimes shouldering responsibility for families, careers, and communities. Lindsay, watching closely, recognized the subtle signs of emotional fatigue that rarely make headlines, understanding that strength in broadcasting is often measured by composure rather than candor, and that the expectation to always appear grounded can leave little room to acknowledge doubt, fear, or exhaustion. Together, they navigated the delicate dance of two demanding careers, learning that success can be both a blessing and a burden, offering fulfillment while quietly asking for sacrifices that are seldom discussed publicly. As the years passed, Craig confronted moments when the mirror reflected not just a seasoned journalist, but a man aware of time's passage, mindful of health, legacy, and the reality that reinvention is not only for the young, but for anyone brave enough to question what truly matters in life's later chapters. Lindsay became his anchor in the truest sense, reminding him that worth is not confined to airtime or accolades, but rooted in integrity, kindness, and the courage to be present beyond professional obligation. Their conversations, often held far from microphones and scripts, turned toward topics familiar to many in their 60s: how to pace oneself, how to remain relevant without losing oneself, how to honor ambition while protecting well-being, and how to accept that vulnerability is not weakness, but a bridge to deeper connection. Craig's public role demanded steadiness during national tragedies and cultural upheavals, yet privately, he learned that resilience is not forged by suppressing emotion, but by acknowledging it and choosing to move forward with intention, a lesson reinforced by Lindsay's empathy and unwavering support during moments when the emotional toll of storytelling felt particularly heavy. For an audience that has lived through decades of change, Craig and Lindsay's journey reflects a familiar truth: that life rarely unfolds in clean segments, that personal and professional identities intertwine in ways that challenge simplistic definitions of success, and that wisdom often emerges not from triumph alone, but from endurance. The couple found meaning in rituals untouched by ratings or recognition, shared walks, quiet laughter, moments of stillness that offered perspective amid relentless schedules, discovering that these small, private acts of care were as vital as any career milestone. As Craig matured in his role, he carried the newsroom with greater perspective, recognizing that authenticity resonates more deeply than perfection, and that viewers sense when a broadcaster speaks not just from experience, but from empathy earned through living. Lindsay, ever attuned to the emotional currents beneath the surface, understood that the most powerful stories are often the ones never aired, the ones that shape character rather than headlines. Together, they embrace the reality that aging in the public eye invites reflection rather than retreat, offering an opportunity to model grace, balance, and compassion for a generation navigating its own transitions. The pressures of public life did not vanish, but they softened, reframed by gratitude and a shared understanding that no title or platform defines the totality of a life. In the end, Craig Melvin's journey, supported by Lindsay Krasarniak's quiet strength, serves as a gentle reminder that behind every familiar face lies a private landscape of challenges and growth, and that for those in their 60s and beyond, the most meaningful chapters are often written not in breaking news, but in the quiet resilience of showing up each day with honesty, purpose, and an open heart.